Mahadeva, Mahadeva, Mahadeva. Is it the section 10 we are supposed to start?
10, 3 and 4. 1 and 2.
Okay, 10, 3.
3 and 4, sir.
Okay. So, Samiti. Let us see what is he saying in 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we Shambho Mahadeva Ishwara. So as Indra wanted, Prajapati explained about the Brahman or the Aatman as Sharira. Then he came back. So first 32 years of penance he has undergone. Again he came back thinking that it is not right. Then when Sharira is not there, what could be that? Then he said about the Swapnavastha. Swapnavastha is the truth. Might be the truth. It's not the truth. Swapnavastha might be the Atman. So in Swapna, because there are no realities, when you wake up, everything becomes normal. So it should be Swapnavastha. That we have discussed, I think, so that's okay. After the Swapnavastha again, so this is in the Swapnavastha. Then Indra said that he got the instructions and then he goes back again as usual. And on the way he thinks that how can it be Swapnavastha? Because in Swapnavastha also there is pain, there is difficulty, there are problems and everything one undergoes. So the pleasures are there, everything one undergoes. So if that is the case, one undergoes a pain and pleasure and incapacity, incapabilities. Everything is same as in the Jagrata Avastha, same thing is happening in the Swapna Avastha also. So how can such a thing that which has, it is also doesn't have permanency, which is only also temporary. And being in Swapnavastha, how can one have all the desires of the world? How can the whole world can be taken in Swapnavastha? It is not possible. It's not very convincing. So, Indra, it can't be that. Body is blind, dream person need not be blind. But if he bodily individual has another defects such as crippledness, etc., even if the physical body is amputated, limbs cut off, affected seriously, the dreaming individual is not necessarily affected by that. All these things, plus points are there then, but again the same thing as, so he says, how is it possible? Now Indra has another doubt. This is the doubt, that even if the physical body is affected, dream body or not, irrelevant. What is pertinent here is that the dreaming individual has the same problem as the waking individual. There is no difference. The waking state and dreaming state both are equally same. There is no change at all. Yes. And both are temporary, both are for some time, both are till one experiences it, and that too when the body is there. If the body is not Brahman, or if the body is not this one, though the one who sees the Swapna is also the body. Body means body and mind. So how can that be Brahman? Again it is linked with that. So this is not right. So I should go back. So dreaming Atman is also no good. This was the trend of the thought which Indra had in his mind, and he was halfway to his city in the heavens. Third shloka, third mantra says, Sa samit manihi punaryevyam tamha prajapatiruvacha Bhagavan Maghavan Yach Chandra Hridaya. It goes on like that. And fourth also, the third and fourth are also nice shlokas, I would say. न समित्यानि पुनरेयायां तः प्रजापतिरुवाच मघवन्यच्छान्तहृदयः प्राव्राजिः किमिच्छप्नो किमिच्छन् पुनरागमम् इति स हेवाच तद्यदपीदं भगवः शरीरमन्थं भगवत्यन्नमन्थः न भवति यदि सामन् संरामो नैवेशोऽस्यते दोषेण दुष्यति न वेदानस्य fourth word he says again न वदेनास्य खन्यते नास्य श्राम्येण म्रामो ग्रन्थि त्वयि वैन्यं विच्छादयन्ति वा प्रियवेत्तेव भवत्यपि रोदति वा नाहमत्र भोग्यं पश्यमीत्येयमेवैष मघवन्नचिदेवाचैवं त्वमेव ते भूयो अनुनिख्यास्यापि वसापसराणि धात्रिशतं वर्षाणीति द्वात्रिशतं वर्षाणीति स अपराणि द्वात्रिशतं वर्षोपास तस्मै हेवाच इति दशमखण्डः समाप्तः. So, in the third mantra, Bhagavan says again, what happened? Savdipannaha punareva visyaha. He brought again the 5 wood. You know that minimum 11 firewoods have to be brought. It's in the state of that 11, 21, 51, 108. These are the firewood placed in the Yajna. So based on that, he again brought the firewood, and then what happened? Approached Prajapati. Again, hey Prajapati. Prajapati was expecting, queried. This is the third time he went away satisfied. First with the Deha, then with the Sopana. This is the third time. Oh Indra, now again you have come. What happened? Indra mentioned once again all his doubts. This dreaming body, individual, is no good. The dreaming person can be affected by serious manner like in the waking state. So all his doubts that what is that happening in the waking state only is happening in the dreaming state. Hey Bhagavan, how is it possible that my mind is not able to perceive it in the right manner? Could you please tell me again? Said that. Yes, why not? Please go again on 32 years of penance. Life of discipline, the brahmacharya. Then I will tell you what's to be done. Let me see if I can tell you something more about Aatman, then I will think about it. Said Prajapati. So this is the third time. Yeah, this is the third time. So third time means how many years now? 66 years. 32 into 3. 96 years. Okay. 96 years have passed. With this, Indra must have been a tenacious person, no doubt, to stay like this for the sake of great knowledge. So he, according to the injunctions of Prajapati, stayed there, flat as a board, for another 32 years, leading life of intense discipline, austerity and tapascharya. Prajapati instructed Indra, section 11. We go. In section 11, he said, "Hey, Indra, I am satisfied with your tapascharya, I am satisfied with your self-discipline, I am satisfied with your brahmacharyatva and a firm mind of wanting to know the truth of the Aatman or Brahman." He said, "Tadyatrai tatsuptaha samastaha samrasannah swapnam na vijnanatyeshaha atmeti hevachaitad murda bhayametad brahmodi saha shanta hridaya pravavraja sah yaprapti devanetad bhayam dadarshana khalyevamam sampraptyamanam janatyamahamasmiti no evami bhutani vinashamevapiti bhavati nahamatra bhogam pashyamiti." He said, "Very nice, I'm very happy with your this one. So now let me tell you this Atman in a different way. I will point out the Atman which is not affected by the physical body, conditioned by the sorrows of dream, which is blessed in its own state." What is that? He said, in Sushuptavastha, he who is in deep sleep state, that is the Atman. That's it. Because now your problem is that is mortal, that is temporary, it is immortal. This is immortal. And it is fearless. Na bhayam. So, fearless, this Atman. This has no obligations, this has no commitment, this has no pleasure, this has no pain, this doesn't undergo any of these status, whatever you have told now. So, which one? That which is in the state of deep sleep state, said Prajapati, is the Sushuptavastha. He said it's the Atman experience. So, there in that, no experience of sorrow and any kind of these things, any feelings, nothing. Listening to these instructions of Prajapati, Indra was satisfied for the time being. Yes, none of these experiences are happening in the sleep state. It's absolutely, immortality is there. So what sort of Atman? Then he says again, in the abode, went back home thinking again halfway, he comes back. He did not reach home. He had great fear. Again the doubts. How to come back, how to go, he doesn't know. But anyway, decided, having come, I will definitely attend. The fourth time he comes back. Went back, sort of Atman is that. What sort of Atman is that? That is in sleep. It doesn't have any sensation, it doesn't have any feeling, it doesn't have any activity, it doesn't have thing. Then what is this Atman for? That is a negation of all things. That is a darkness which knows neither of its own self nor others. The Atman which doesn't know himself, what is the use of that Atman? And how can that Atman who doesn't know his own self, how can that Atman conquer the whole world and then they attain all the desires of the universe? Is it possible? So he went back to Prajapati. Again the sacred firewood in hand. The disciple once again approaches Prajapati. O Indra, why have you come back again? You were very satisfied with the answer. Now what happened? Indra replied, Hey Bhagavan, this Aatman in deep sleep that you spoke to me about does not know anything at all. It's an ignorant Aatman. This is a state of apparent self-annihilation. I cannot believe that this is the immortal Atman by knowing which one becomes the Lord of all the worlds and by knowing which one can know and fulfills all the desires about which you made a proclamation in the court. So in the third shloka, 11.3. Third shloka, Bhagavan says, he says, okay, so you'll come back again the next time, fifth time now. This time, hey Indra, you have brought the fuel for the indhana for this one. Okay. You go in discipline for another 5 years. Now it has become 5 years. That's why I calculated this. 96 plus 5, 101 years. 101 years of penance. That's the real time that is required. According to this advice of the great master, he lived there for another 5 years in very strict discipline, intense discipline, and sought initiation again. Hey Bhagavan, Diksha. 101 years of tapas did Indra perform in the abode of Prajapati for the sake of the supreme knowledge. Indra, such a powerful person with such a brilliant intellect, had to live a life of tremendous austerity for 101 years for the sake of this Aatman knowledge. This shows the need for the requisite Atmagatam. This shows the need for the requisite preparation for the reception of this knowledge. It cannot come easily. After these preparations on the part of Indra, and is having completed 101 years of the tremendous tapas, Prajapati instructed about the final truth about the Aatman. In section 12, section 12, Maharshi says, Maghavan Martyam Vaidaha Shariramatam Mrityuna Tadasya Amritam Syashish Sharirasya Atmane Adhishtanamam Ate Vai Sasharira Priya Priyabhyam Navai Sasharirasya Sada Priya Priyaroha Aroham Ahadi Satya Shariram Vava Santam na priya priyo sprashataha. No way. Listen to me, Bhagavan says, Prajapati said. This body is perishable. It is enveloped and overwhelmed by death, mrityu, from every side. How could this be the Atman? The physical body is subject to death and transformation, matter known to everyone. So in the state of psychic individuality also, the mind is not in any way better than the body. So that we have discussed again. So none of this, then he repeats the whole thing, that again the body, then the supnavastha, then sushuptavastha, dreaming state, and the dreaming state as well as in the deep sleep state. Everything is casual conditions which engenders the experience of the mind through dream and waking. It is potential food which contains the seed of life form for these experiences in dream and waking state. So none of them can be Atman. It's not possible. None of them can experience Atman also, even though I can say the body and mind also has got 1% or 0.5% or 1% of Atman is transmitted into it because of the functions necessary through the reflection. It has the impact of it, but it is not Atman, and it is not Atman, and it cannot experience Atman. It is not possible. Then he says, the Atman is neither the individual consciousness of itself as a person, nor it is unconscious entity. Neither it is consciousness, nor it is unconsciousness. It is something quite different. It is not personality consciousness. It's also not non-consciousness. Again, everything is being negated. This is what I just want to tell you, that everything is being negated. Neither this nor that. That which can be seen, that which can be felt, that which can be tasted, that which can be existing, that which can be not existing, that which is thinkable, that which is not possible to think. Even those which cannot be thought. Is that what though? That means that beyond my thought is Atman. That also is not Atman. That which is cannot be thought. That which can be, because in not thinking also has a bearing of thinking. That which cannot be thought. That means there is an instrument. No? So neither the thinker, nor the thought, nor the thinking is the Atman. Then what it is? No one can escape death. Now he each step by step he is going, actually very detailed he has gone. This body is nothing but a vehicle of manifestation of the immortal bodiless Atman. The body manifests one degree of reality of the Atman. It's a receptacle, as it were, of this consciousness which is the Atman. The immortal is capable of manifesting its existence through the functions of the body, but it is not identical with the body. Physical experience, mortal life, whatever said and done, none of them are that. See. Whether it is physical or psychic, cannot escape being conditioned by the vicissitudes of pleasure and pain. So, those which undergoes the pleasure and pain is not Atman. That which can be thought is not Atman. That which can be seen is not Atman. That which can be dreamt is not Atman. That which cannot be dreamt and seen in waking state also is not Atman. That's Sushuptavastha, is not Atman. There's always the undercurrent of future sorrow, even at the time of experience of present so-called happiness. First of all, they are all relative terms. What is happiness? Because there is sorrow, there is happiness. How you term the happiness as? Because you have troubles, you have problems, then certain things which is not a problem for you, we call it as happiness. Otherwise, what is the specification of happiness? What is the specification of happiness? What is the specification of pleasure? What is the specification of pleasure and happiness? What is the specification of sorrow and sadness? What are they? They are all your perceptions, imagination through neurological system, through muscular body, through physical body, only through the thoughts. They are connected with that. Certain things which you list out as sorrows, they are sorrows. Certain things you list out as pleasure, it's pleasure. They have no specific, even though at length in all the Vedas, in the Upanishadic and the Shastras and Vedas and everywhere, whenever a discussion has taken place about the Aatman or the supernaturality or the spiritualism or brahmacharyatum or sannyasam or living. See, in Upanishad itself, the living, the proper way of living doesn't consist the ingredients such as pleasure and pain. It's not there. They said it is living, that's all. The word is living. Now the pleasure and pain has been added by the individuals depending upon their own perceptions, depending upon their own necessities, that's all, or their own wishes, ideals and ideals, that's all. There is no specifications provided by the nature, by the Prakriti, that there is pleasure and pain. Even though we said that everything that you are experiencing is in the Prakriti, we said. So we said even pleasure and pain also is being felt from the Prakriti. In the sense doesn't mean that there is pain in the Prakriti, there is pleasure in the Prakriti. No. There is living in the Prakriti. The methodology of living is there in the Prakriti. When that methodology of living in the Prakriti has been transmitted into an individual unit, it can be considered as pleasure and pain. Yes. Some sensations, that's all. It is pain. When a needle pricks, what happens? The nervous system carries certain informations to that, it pains. It is a pain, it's classified as some kind of pain. When you walk, muscular pain. When you sit, this pain. When you think, that problem. When you think, this pain. All classified as, they're all what? According to the Shastras, according to Upanishad, everything is a living, that's all. These are all incorporated in living. It's all put together is called living. Identifying them separately as pain and pleasure. Identifying them separately as happiness and unhappiness is only because of the perception of the mind. Otherwise, it will not be classified as that. But it is necessary for a Bhautika Jivan. In the material way of living, it is there. It has to be there because opposites have to be there. Unless these opposites are there, you will not know the value of the superior. So these are felt by the Sharira. So that's why he said, it's not the body, it is not the mind, it is not the Swapnavastha, it is not the Jagratavastha, it is neither none of the Sushuptavastha also. When none of these things are there, where is the question of pleasure and pain? Tell me. When the body is not there, mind is not Atman, Sushupta, Jagratavastha is not Atman, Sushuptavastha is not, the Swapnavastha is not. Where is place for pleasure and pain? It's living. This is called the true Brahmacharyatum. Identity of the living, proper living. That's called proper living. That's what is called dharmic dharma, dharmic way of living. That is what is called, that in sannyasa there is also a status where one lives according to that, whatever it happens. It doesn't have the pain, it doesn't have the pressure, it doesn't have the fear. And it has been inscribed in Puranas also, in a smaller ways. Yes. They said Prahlada did not have, Prahlada had the immense bhakti of Bhagavan Vishnu, Narayan. When Prahlada had immense bhakti on Narayan, he was not scared. Hiranyakashipu threw him from the mountain, made the snakes to bite him, put him in the prison. He had no pain. That is what Hiranyakashipu was telling. What is this? You, a small boy, from a height I dropped you down, made the snakes to bite him, poisonous snakes, put him in prison, tortured him, did not give food. No pleasure. There is no pain, there is no pleasure. Everything is a pleasure. When there is no pain, when there is no pleasure, that state, I don't know what you call it, whether it is happiness or something else, we don't know. Because there is no name for that. See, in Puranas also it has been mentioned. What is called the living, dharmic way of living? In that dharmic way of living, he could attain everything. That's dharmic way of living. So identity of the pleasure, identity of the pain comes, pleasure comes only when the pain is identified. You see, you have determined that should not happen. If that happens, that is sorrow. So if that doesn't happen, it is not sorrow, it is happiness. This is how we derived it. So you have identified the sorrows first. Whichever is not sorrow is the happiness. That's not sorrow. Whichever is not the pain, it is a pleasure. This is how it's identified. They are all perception of the mind. So it's a creation of the mind. It is not existing. It is only a kind of hallucinations created by the mind, depending upon situations and circumstances. When the mind is there, that's all. The same situation at a different way, it is the pain becomes pleasure, the pleasure becomes pain. We know that in our own experience, in our life also, they are very most impermanent things which are pleasure and pain we classify. So the clutches of pleasure and pain, as long as one lives in this finite body. So this body, because of the consciousness, again we go back to our original chapter where the consciousness of the body and mind. See? When the consciousness of the body, it's not that the body and mind will be there. Again, I repeat that this number of times earlier also. The consciousness of the body and mind, that the body we are speaking is not necessarily that it has to be the body in this world of the material world. It can be, there are bodies in different worlds also. So it can be in the space, the body in the space, it can be in the patala, it can be, there are 7 worlds, 7 different levels of vibrations are there, 7 different patalas are there, below that, below and above, whatever we call 7 below, 7 up, yes. All we have mentioned. These classifications are also based on the vibrations, and there also the bodies are there, whether it is in the body or here or somewhere else. Anything that is, so what is the classification? That anything that is living in the space and time is not Atman, is what? They are all living in space. They are all living in space and time. So anything that is there in space and time is also not Atman. Then because it is also in space and time. Then what is this finitude? It's the unconscious, it's a consciousness of something being outside one's self and of something limiting one's own being. Because whenever we have the consciousness of the body and mind, we are wanting to experience something outside that. That's called experiencing. When experiencing is taking place, experiencer has to be there. Because experiencer is there, experiencing is taking place, or the other way around. When that experiencer, the body is there, is always looking for experiences of all external experiences. And when there is external experiences, what happens? You are limiting yourself to a particular measure. You can be measured. No. That which can be measured, naturally, it cannot be Atman. That which is measurable is not Atman. That which is immeasurable is also not Atman. Because quantifying it. Immeasurable is quantifying. I cannot. The ocean. How many liters of water is there in the ocean? Immeasurable. But it is not Atman. Yeah. See how he derives, how he negates one by one, which is not Atman that we think. He even goes to other areas like, but these difficulties do not arise when the body vanishes and when one experience. Now we go to bodiless experience. Ashariro Vayuhu Abram Vidyut. It can be anything. Let it be lightning, Vidyut. It can be air. Let it be the space. It's impossible to conceive what bodiless experience is. Bodiless experience, how do you know what is experience? Then who is experiencing? When we call it as bodiless experience, out of body experience, there is a word nowadays. I was discussing with somebody today. See, many names have been given for various things. I don't know for the purpose of what we do not know. In the name of various things have been learnt, various things have been transmitted, various things have been made understand. So one of them is that we also discussed about out of body experience. What is that? Or bodiless experience, whichever it is. Who is experiencing when the body is not there? It is a conception of mind because of the fact that the mind is only a handmaid of bodily experiences. It's not the mind again. When the body is not there, mind is not there. Who is experiencing? What body clamors for what it seems to speak. Whatever the mind thinks is only in terms of the body. So it is not the mind. It has to stand on its own head as it were. So injunction of Prajapati that bodiless existence is free from the vicissitudes of pleasure and pain cannot easily be made intelligible to the mind that is affected by the conditions of the bodily experience. So, he confirms that the out-of-body experience is not concerning the body and mind. Is that what we are talking about? It is not like what you experience with body and mind. We have a feeling that out-of-body experience is that exactly as what you feel with the body. For information, now, for instance or for example, I'll tell you. If a Jivatma dies, Atma is not there, Jada is there, the body is there. Suppose there is an experience, some unit is experiencing something. That something is seeing the mother, the father, the son, the whatever relations around, standing around the body. The experiments or the convictions by the Maharishis and Tapasvis have explained that this particular unit who is the experiencer, that what we call as out-of-body experience, they recognize them as the father, mother or the whatever relationship is there of that particular body which is no more there. So you can imagine now, when that mind and the body is no more there, those things which are connected to the body and mind, it's also not there. They are not identified as mother and father. It is your absolute wrong concept that that your father sitting on the heavens and looking at you as the son is absolutely a wrong concept. It's only an energy which is an Atma which is absolutely independent of it. But yes, as we said, The whole universe is interlinked. It has connections with this. It will be recognizing this as once it was a part of me for the purpose of experience. Doesn't mean there is any value for that relationship is maintained there. Tapasvis and jnanis and the reincarnations, their connection with the jivas are totally different. It is not the ones who are dead and born for the rebirth. It is not like that. Because they are not the body and mind. And their relationship even before and after is also the same. There is no change in it. That conditions are different. That I am not talking about it. It's a very big chapter. I have only told you the difference between these two. The one which are the Atmas, Jivatmas, which are being reborn, which is left the body, has no identification of anything that is existing here, because the body, it is only connected with the body and mind. When there is no connection, when the body and mind itself is not there, the consciousness of the body and mind itself is not there, the relationship connected to the body and mind is also not there. Okay. Now, we should remember one thing. In the cycle of rebirth, I know it is easily misunderstood. These principles are such, it can be easily misled, What do you mean by the release of the body and mind again? So long there is a cycle of body and mind, the cycle is happening because of what? Because of the karma balas. That means there are memories which is from the Udana, it is being transmitted into the Atma, a part of it which is considered as an experience, and which he reborn again with another body, even though the Atma is same and the Jivatma is same. Let me put it as Jivatma also. Jivatma is same, which was there in the previous body and the next body. Jivatma is same. Since it is same, the experience of the previous Jivatma is the one which is carried forward toward the next body. Now the moment this enters, forms another next body, the memories of the old body is totally lost. It is no more there. But these memories are there hidden in us. That is why we do regression and all that. During the process of regression, what happens? The whole memories that is there, it is reviving out. In that memory you can see who was your father, who was your mother. They are only in the memory. They are connected with the function of a particular body and mind. Every relationship in every time, and those people are connected with only that body. That mother and father is not the mother and father of the next body. That mother and father is not the one for the third body. Let me put it that way. So who is ultimately your mother and father? Every time you changed your mother and father, is it not? So there is no such relationship in the sense when the Atma is released. When is it released? When the Brahmacharyatva is complete, Tapascharya is complete, like Indra, a person like Indra, who did 101 years of penance of the Brahmacharyatva, in strict discipline and Brahmacharyatva, in Prajapati's instance, then only he identified what is the Atman. In the same way, through the process of living, when a person undergoes the process of complete living, and the Atma is released after identification of the true Atma, identified, where there are no attachments with that of any of the karma balas, at that point of time, it is totally merged with the Prakriti and Purusha. There is no connection with any of these things. Even if it doesn't happen also, each time a body is dead, this Jivatma, which we call as a Jivatma, is also merged with the Atma. Because of certain revolutions and evolutions that is happening within that, the identities of physical world is not there. The identities of physical world is not affecting them. It's not that it is not there. It's not affecting them. Not at all. In no way it is affecting them. Yes. If somebody is ill in the physical world, the Atma who is already dead, in no way it is being affected by that. Even somebody dies here, no way that Atma is connected with that. Nothing. No. There is no link. Not link. Link is there, but there is no. The experiences that what. Why did I explain all these things? The experiences, what we call connected with the body and mind, is not the experiences that is there in the different world. That is also again in time and space. This is why he has. Are you getting what I am speaking? The technicality of it, otherwise it will be misunderstood, Even after death, it is also that body, we call it, let me call it as a body, that body which is dead, even though there is no body, that is in a different world, and it has undergone certain karma bhalas, so it has to be replaced, it has to come back. So let us call it as a body in a different plane. Even that also is in the space and time. So that Prajapati says, those which are in the space and time, they will not be in a position to identify the Atman. So what has to happen? This Jivatma, after being reborn, having experience, finally at one point of time, when it releases from all that and released to the Purusha, then only he knows what is the Atma, is the meaning of it. Are you getting it? See? Am I right? Are you getting this? He says that, because he has told that whichever is there in the body and mind, not only the body that which is there in the physical world, also in different worlds is what he is explaining here. Also that is there in different worlds. We know that in different worlds there cannot be a body. Here the body means a substance that which is containing something, which is a vehicle of something. It's called a body. What's a body? Body is nothing but a carrier of the Atma, a principle of Atma. So even after one is dead, it is also a body which is carrying the Jivatma that is gone, is also a vehicle which is carrying the Atma. Only thing, the experiences are different. So in order to eliminate those experiences, negate those experiences, it is to be reborn and experienced through the body cycle. Is why he said 1% I give for body. The Atma, the Atmas, 1%, is there in the Sharira. That is why the Sharira is functioning as the vehicle of the Atma. Naturally, in order to have the Atma to be there, it has to have a content of Atma, in that it is not that somebody else is making it. It's Atma himself making the body for him to stay. See, this is something like that. Okay. So I hope you got my point, that physical bodies. So what do you mean by that? What the Atman is, the mind cannot think, for the simple reason that we are used to imagining that physical bodies are substantives which have qualities and characters inherent in them. In our present conditions, we can never for a moment think that the substantive can be other than a physical body. Naturally, see that. Why we are unable to understand is that we are unable to perceive the idea of having a mind without a body, and having having an Atma without a body, having experience without a body. No. It is not the out of body experience. So there are two different things. Now I hope you might have understood. One is out of body experience, that experiencing this body when it was surviving, what are the things? That's all karma balas. That is out of body experience. Another is that experiencing bodiless experiencing is that Atma which doesn't have a body, experiencing that from a different unit is called bodiless experiencing. Okay. There are two bifurcations are there. Yes. Whatever we think is physical only, because only in physical body there is a mind, then only we can think, and we cannot think. And we think only those things connected with the physical body. We think only for the purpose of physical body, for the sustenance of the physical body. You see. Well, not all, but we are also thinking about tapasya, we also are thinking about liberation. But even liberation from what? Again it will come physical body, you see. So everything will be linked to the physical body and mind, because our limitation, we are limited now. We are unable to think beyond certain limits, even though we are listening to it and we are presuming things, that's all. But we are unable to perceive it or conceive it in the right sense. We are only imagining it. We are only creating our own. That's why each one understands different. It is because each one's perception capacity is totally different. They are not perceiving the right thing. If the right thing is perceived, everyone sees the Atma in the same way. There will not be any change. Even if we close our eyes and imagine something non-physical, with a stretch of our imagination, it cannot be non-physical because it will be located in the space and time. Even suppose we say that, okay, there is God in the space I can see and all that, even that God is also in space and time. So the God, what you are thinking, is in space and time. That is not Atma, that's not the God. It's your creation for your purpose, is it not? You are creating God only to your purpose. You see. God is angry with me. God is smiling today. God is blessing today. Today He is very angry because everything is connected with my experience of you. You create your own God depending on that. Depending like you see. So he says that it is all, we cannot think beyond the physical level. And it will be located in this space. So that whichever, so all these things are located in space and time. Those which are located in space, all these things, so don't avoid any of these things. He has beautifully explained this. They are all existing in space and time. Your imagination of this is in space and time. That which is your imagination projected in space and time, because when there is space and time, that is not the truth of the Atma. Abode of the Atma is not in space and time. Space and time has been created by you for your convenience, for your perception of experience, that's all. In order to have your experience, you have space and time. We have explained about space and time earlier also, I think in earlier chapter, quite extensively what is space. The space what we understand is not space. The space that is the sky is not space. The space between us and the sky is not the space. The space between us and the planets are not the space. The space what you think is not the space. The free time that you get as a space of yours is also not the space. You have a house is not your space. When we idiotically, talking about the space. Sorry for that word. It's not idiotic, very intelligently spoken. And this is the very meaning of physicality. There is no such things as non-physical thinking. Non-physical thinking is not there. Everything is physical thinking only. If you have something as non-physical thinking, that will be truth. Then you can identify. Therefore, the Atman cannot be thought by your mind. But we have, everything is thought by the mind only, including the great God. It's thought. That's why we've got a lot of problems with God. Fights with God. Fight about God. Forget about fight with God, doesn't matter. At least you know that there is God. Fight about God is also there. That's also a fight. Which form should be the God? Whether the God should be eating laddu or whether he should eat payasam. Which God is superior? These are all our problems. Everything is a thought. You create your own person. Hare. That is the reason also why we cannot imagine what is bodiless existence. Without body existing, how it would be, what is that experience, cannot be experienced by you being in the body and mind consciousness. That's why Adi Shankaracharya said, when you are out of the body mind consciousness, you can feel the experience of the bodiless experience of the self. That can be seen. The body's bodiless existence of the Atman is not the divesting of reality in any manner whatsoever. It is complete freedom, not the negation of anything. We have talked about it. When I spoke about penance, what is it? When I spoke about renunciation, yes. Renunciation is not negating something, it's including everything. See, it is like the seed of a tree. It's not negating because there's nothing to negate. If you are negating something, you have to accept something. So there again Dvaitam. So negating is again a status when what is acceptance, what is not non-acceptance. Non-acceptance you have to negate. Then you have again classifications. So this acceptance is for what? Is negation is for what? By negation you feel happy, pleasure. That's what at last. Again connecting with the physical body. So it's not negating. Completeness, Purnata is called renunciation. Renounce that which is not the truth. Renounce ignorance. Renounce the myth. It's called renunciation. That's the renunciation. When you do sannyasa and tapasya and meditation, automatically that's how the renunciation takes place. You get renounced. So these are all connected with this bodiless experience, what I am talking about. When a complete renunciation takes place, it is bodiless experience. It's the gaining of health from the condition of disease. It is not, it's an impersonality of state, an impersonality of condition, impersonality of experience, impersonality of being. All right. So none of them. So we can imagine where we are leading to. So none of them that you are experiencing, you are thinking, you are seeing, none of them are that. Okay. Is it connected only with us? So, Swamiji, Maharishi takes us to, okay, if that is the case, what do you think? He says, is it something? To give only very gross intelligible example, a lump of ice which is finite in its bodily being is in any way superior to the causes out of which it has come into this existence. The ice is nothing but a solidified form of water. Water is more general in its formation than this limited form of ice. But even water has a cause behind it, hydrogen and oxygen. We cannot say that the water is also superior to its cause in any manner whatsoever. Can you say the water vapor is inferior to the manifestation? That's called water or ice. Even these gases, hydrogen and oxygen, are not ultimate causes. They are again manifestations. Chemically or something superior or more subtle in the character, more unthinkable. So what he is trying to tell us, those which are there, the materials that are there, let it be water, let it be fire, let it be air, Panchabhutas. Even they are also based on certain things, and that's also space and time. Is that Atman? That is also not Atman. Merely because something is unthinkable, it does not become non-real existence. The more is the capacity of mind to conceive causes, the more we'll be able to understand the nature of Atma. Why it looks abstracted is because it is generalized and is universal. That which is unthinkable, avyaktam. Is it Vyakta? Is it Avyakta? It is neither Vyakta nor Avyakta. Yes, in the physical sense. But if somebody can really experience, why we say it is not Vyakta and Avyakta? It is neither this nor that. Because out of this we know only one. Vyakta only we know. Avyakta we do not know. Avyakta is your imagination. So long you call it as Avyakta, see, you should remember that. Why Shastras have told, oh, neither this nor that, then kya hai? And some people get confused or irritated. Neither it is Vyakta nor Avyakta. It is you who is saying, it is Vyakta, this is Avyakta. When you say beyond this is Avyakta, you have limited knowledge about certain things, so up to that you say it is Vyakta. But there are things which are there beyond your knowledge, is Avyakta to you. And that Avyakta which you are addressing is based on your imagination. It's not the truth. But when finally, when everyone knows everything, then there is a status of Avyakta. That Avyakta is known only to that person who is above the absolute Avyaktata. That comes only after experience of the tapasya, 101 days of tapasya, he said, 101 years of tapasya, he said in Indra. Same way, certain amount of tapasya where total consciousness is absolutely clarified with the Avyaktata. At that point of time, that unit which is identifying the Avyaktata will not call it as Avyakta because there is nothing called Avyakta. For that unit, everything is Vyakta. So for you in the body and mind, that which is Vyakta is not mind, that which is Avyakta is not Atma, that which is Vyakta is not Atma, Avyakta is not Atma. The one who has identified the Avyakta, for him, that which is beyond Avyakta is Vyakta for him. It's absolutely clear, which is unclear. Which you say it is unclear, is clear to him. It's called Vyakta. Then the Avyakta question is no. Because there is Avyaktada, there are confusions and complications and non-understanding. That Avyaktada is perishable. When one Avyaktata is totally gone, Purnata has been attained, so Avyaktata is not existing at all. When Avyaktata is not there, it's Vyakta. That's called the Purusha all knowing, all pervading. See, when it is all pervading, where is avyakta? Where is limitation? You sitting in the limited, small, tiny body and the world, you want to know that avyakta. So you call it as avyakta. When that avyakta is clarified and cleansed, you understood what? Avyaktada. So the differentiation of avyaktada and vyaktada doesn't remain. Can we call it as vyaktada at that time? No. So it is not vyakta, it is not avyakta. It is, that's why they called it as one word, existence. That which is existence. Existence is that. There is not, is existence vyakta? Is existence avyakta? The one who says, oh, I know the avyaktada. Finished. He doesn't know anything. I know what is avyakta. Finished. I know what is vyakta. Is that vyakta? Is this avyakta? To the word, it's vangmayo uddeshaha. They are all words of the mind, imaginations, because they are all necessary for a person who is living in the body and mind consciousness, but beyond the bodiless experience when it takes place, the vyakta vyakta differential dvaitam will not be there. So same way, he says, where are we? Impersonality. So Bhagavan says, so everything goes back to its cause. That's all. Karana Sharira, we said. Who has seen a Karana Sharira? Nobody has seen a Karana. But there is an explanation. Everybody talks about Karana Sharira. Sthula Sharira only we can see. Then when somebody said about the Sukshma Sharira, okay, to some extent we can identify Sukshma Sharira through meditation, things like that. Sukshma Sharira. How about Karana Sharira? It's not known. It cannot be known. It's avyakta. To know the Karana Sharira, the Karana has to be removed. Then we know it is a Karana Sharira. We should know the Karana first of all. When I know the Karana has to be removed. When I know the Karana removed, then the Karana Sharira is identified. When Karana Sharira is known, is there somebody knowing the Karana Sharira? When Karana itself is not there, where is the question of Karana Sharira? When I remove the Karana, where is Karana Sharira? Karana Sharira is not there. Because there is Karma Phalas and the Karana is there, everything goes back to Karana. Now, the one who doesn't have a Karana doesn't form a Karana Sharira. The one who doesn't form a Karana Sharira, one does not have a Sukshma Sharira. One doesn't have a Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira is also not there. None of the Shariras are not there. Where is it gone? Gone back to its own cause, which is root, which is Parabrahman. That's all. So they are classifications only for the purpose of identification of or execution of karmas and identifying. They are not the truth. None of them are no truth because they are all in space and time. They are all have limitations. They are all mortal. Just as finite object appear to get next, the third shloka, mantra. Just as the finite objects appear to get lost in the impersonal causes from where they have come, some of the objects, they appear to get lost in the impersonal causes from where they have come. Even so, this being, having risen from its bodily existence, attains to the immortal state, shining in nature as the pure consciousness which is originally was. This is the most serene condition of one's own life. We cannot say we are serene or composed merely because there are no sounds and there are no contacts. Serenity or composure is real freedom. This is what we called about the silence. You remember about silence, what we said? Silence is not, yes, we have explained enough of that. The experience of which is free from every kind of sorrow or limitedness in the states of waking, dream and sleep state. One has to rise above these three states, the physical, the subtle, the causal. That's what we said. We just explained about it. Conditions which are limitations of the Aatman. They are all limitations. The three states, waking, dream and sleep, are three conditions to which the consciousness of the Aatman is apparently attached and due to which one appears to be an individual, because you are limited with the waking, dream and sushuptavastha. You call yourself as an individual. One has to rise up from these limited embodiments, from the waking physical experience, from the limitations of even the mind which works in dream, from the limitations of deep sleep. One has to rise up, then it is that one becomes the true being. We call it as the Turiya Avastha and all that. Turiya means that. No Avastha is called Turiya Avastha. In an Avastha, there's a status, there's a state, there's a status. That status has to be removed. When the statuslessness, bodilessness, mindlessness, all have lessness. These negations have been learned only because they are there and we started experiencing about them. So the Maharishis thought the best way is to tell that which is there with you, you remove it. Like, what do you say? Wash your hands. Actually, what are you doing? Washing the dirt. Hand is same only. Hand doesn't require a washing. Only when the dirt is accumulated on that, the dirt has to be washed off. Is why we call it as wash the hand. Same way Maharshi thought, since the mind and the body and other things are all incorporated with all these activities, let us tell them that renounce this, renounce that, renounce the body, renounce the mind, renounce this, renounce it. So it's like washing. When there are no thoughts, the mind is not functioning, that mind is not there. So mindlessness. Can you experience that mindlessness? You cannot. Because the experiencer is not there. Mind is not there at that time. So the status of mindlessness, now the status can be identified like washing hand. Like washing hand, we can only tell mindlessness. We cannot say what is there existing there, because the mind is not there. Something else is there, of course. The mind is superimposed on that for the purpose of fulfilling the limited. True being is not unconscious. So that's why we said Sushuptavastha is not freedom of everything. Sushuptavastha is not liberation. No? But being in the waking state, experiencing the Sushuptavastha is the jnana. Now, this condition, how to experience it, it's difficult. That's the truth. So same way, when you true being is not unconsciousness, true being, it's not unconsciousness, fully conscious. It's not a cause, nor is a subtle manifest condition. It's not also a physical body. It is supreme luminosity, Param Jyoti, this. It's a light of all lights. It's not a light like the light of the sun, but it is self-luminous being. It's a light which does not need illumination from something else other than itself. He's describing that. What is Atman? How it can be, perceived in the normal, with the normal limited mind and body. So self-luminous is the cause that it illumines itself. This does not mean that it is ignorant of the existence of others. It's the self of all being. It's not the self of one person or two persons or hundreds or group. The word self is an abused term. So is the term Aatman. Due to limitations of language, we are always accustomed to use the term self in respects of individuals as myself, yourself, herself. This self we have already explained earlier also. It's not in this sense the word self is used. It is not in the self or the self which are referring to it. It is the selfhood which is the true being of everything that is. It is the self of everything in the universe. It is the selfhood of everything that is everywhere. O Indra. So what is it? It's neither Atman. So he said it's an abuse. Self and Atman, both are abuse, he says. O Indra, such is your true being into which you seek initiation. This is the true serenity and composure of the self. You have to stand by your own right. You have to assume your own real status. This is freedom. That is called Atma Swarajya, the freedom of the self. Yogis, in yogis, there is a kind called Jivan Muktas. I have described about Jivan Muktas earlier in our class. Jivan Muktas. The true experience of that Jivan Muktas, they are the ones who really understood that our non-body, non-mind consciousness. It is not unconsciousness. It's called Jivan Mukta. See, that's the status of that. Okay. We are not in our own status. We do not enjoy our status when we are in the physical body. That's true. We are not ourselves. We are none of these. Whatever we have explained now, we are none of these. We are totally different. We are limited with this. We are trying to put ourselves into this condition. What is good of this sleeping condition is as good as annihilation. As Indra himself has pointed out, so none of these states through which we pass can be of any value for us. That is why they said, renounce the Sharira. Renounce the Sharira in the sense it is not physically renouncing it. Now we always connect with the physical world. Renunciation is not a word used for physical world. In physical world it is Tyaga, to do Tyaga of something. Tyaga is not renunciation. Tyaga is that material transaction, that's all. Or habit, that's also material. Thought transaction, that's called the Tyaga. But renunciation is not like that. So it is it is in the conscious level. So that's what he is telling about the renunciation. That's why they are the term of sannyasa. They are the term of true satya and sannyasa. Samnyasa. Thus, there is no freedom except in a state of universality. Now, ultimately, he explains so many things. This is not you, that is not you, this is not you, this is not you. This. You are not that, you are not this, you are not this. None of this. Whatever you are thinking now, whatever you are seeing now, whatever you are experiencing now, none of these are you. They are all limitations, perception of limited mind and body. Thus, there is no freedom except in the state of universality, all pervading. Sarvavyapi. Then only the freedom. If you are Sharira Vihari, then you are only in the Sharira. Or anywhere, any other Vihari, your Vihara only up to that. There should be no Vihara at all. That's why they said it is static, non-moving. That's why Chara, Achara, that's the word. Achara, that immovable. Nothing moves there. This. We cannot imagine what is that nothing moves. Nothing moves, stillness we call it. Oh, if it is still, then how is it Atman, like Indra said? How it can be Atma, how it can be Brahman. The Brahman which is not moving at all, what is the use of it, you will say. The movement what we are thinking is that, we are all, the movement what we are talking about is the relative conditions, that's all. Like the train moving, the tree is running. Life is connected with it. Our Chara, Achara is based on that only. When both tree and train are running in the same speed, then what happens? Is it Chara or Achara? Is it Chara or Achara? Tell me. No, it is Chara. Both are moving. Chara. It's moving. Same way. What is stillness? When everything is known. So, what is that known? Avyaktam. Now, what I told. Everything is known. When everything is known, there's nothing more to know. We feel it is Achara. When the aeroplane is moving in the sky, we see through the window. You don't know at what speed it is going. In a car, you go in 10 kilometers, you know little speed increasing, you're going fast. But there you don't understand because there is no relativity. No trees running with you. No trees outside, no running away. Then only you can calculate you are moving or not moving. Sometimes you feel that the plane is still. Somebody sees the plane far. You will feel that it is standing there. It cannot stand. We feel it is standing there. Still. Yes. No relativity. The speed, in order to calculate the speed, you have to have something related to that, you see. In the sky, it is not there. So it is Chara or Achara? It is Chara. Chara, because there is no question of Achara there, so we don't call it as Chara. In the highest state of consciousness of meditation, when Bhagavan is sitting, everything is functioning. It's not functioning. Everything is functioning in the right way. Same way, when I do not have the consciousness of the body and mind, when I renounce it in the right manner, when I am in the status of some nyasate, then I am all pervading, not limited with the sharira. So what happened? We call it as a freedom. We called it as a freedom. To be in the sharira means that to be in prison. Atma should be in its own status. Atma in its own status is all pervading. There are no limitations. Unlimited. Can we call it as unlimited? No. Can we call it as limited to the Atma? No. That's the status. They are measurable, you see. Those which are measurable, they cannot be Atma. They cannot be Brahman. We saw about the Brahman. Atma and Brahman and God. I told you, everything is Brahman only. Yes. Everything is Brahman only. So that's not Brahman. That which is under limitations, it is not Brahman. That which can be thought is not Brahman. That can be measured, cannot be Brahman. That can be dreamt, is not Brahman. That can be not dreamt, is not Brahman. That in the waking state you talk about it, is not Brahman. You think, not think is not Brahman, because they're all connected with the physical experience of yours. That's all, very simple. Don't think that, oh, so many paryayas for that, so many things, then what it is. No. One word, he concluded that that which is physical is not Brahman. Because these are all connected with your physical activity. You're thinking, you're seeing, you're imagining, you're doing, you're then. Beyond. That's why he said, that's called the freedom. Ravi. This is freedom. This is called Atma Swarajya. So they called it as Atma Swarajya. Swarajya of Atma, where intrusion is not there, compulsion is not there, satisfying is not there, experiencing is not there, mukti is not there, liberation is not there. Liberation is also a term which is physical. It's not spiritual again. Because liberation from the physical is called liberation. If the physical is not there, liberation is not there. What is Atma? A liberated Atma, somebody classifies with preposition. Atma is liberated. There is no question of liberated Atma. So usko mukt karo, isko mukt karo. Now you understand? It's a false term. Nobody can give mukti to someone else. Who is that physical? They're all physical perceptions. But is it not necessary? Now again, see, when we are talking about Chhandogya Upanishad, that too at the 8th chapter, we should be in a different level of thinking. No? Is it not necessary? It is necessary. For whom? For those who are to learn through the process of living, of the physical living, for them, all those rituals and other things. I told you in the last class also. Adi Shankaracharya, who has described out of the Shankara Bhashyam, where it is about the Upanishads and Vedas, who could assimilate Vedas and who could replace the missing shlokas and all that. And he established various temples in the country where Murti Puja to be done. He said, yes, it is not for me, not for Adi Shankaracharya. Has Adi Shankaracharya did puja in any temple? Is there any Shastra explaining, photograph, Adi Shankara sitting and doing? Swaha. No. Nowhere. Then why did he do the temple? Who is the pujaris? Others he have trained. You do the puja. Through puja, he has to become pujaniya. When he becomes pujaniya, he gets liberated from the karta of puja. There is a kartutva bodham. I am doing the puja. There is something else external. Pujaniya, when he becomes, who will do to puja to whom? No, becomes that. So through puja, you have to become pujaniya. Okay. So from next time onwards, stop doing puja here. If you are pujaniya. Where are they? Where are we? Okay. Thus there is no freedom. Bhagavan said there is no freedom except in the state of universality. Universality is that Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan appears in the Vishwarupa Darshan. Vishwarupa. Universality is Vishwarupa. That's all. Vishwarupa Darshan. This is no freedom as long as there is body. Yeah, that's right. There is no... Arjuna could not understand. Even though Arjuna being the... Who is Arjuna? In the Shastras they don't call it as Krishna and Arjuna. In even Mahabharata, at the later stage, Maharishi Vedavyasa addresses them Krishnas. Paryaya. Krishnas. What are the Krishnas? Krishna and Arjuna. Krishnas. Arjuna is Nara and Narayana. Narayana, because they are, the old story goes, it's comes from the Maharishi, And when Narayana was meditating, Nara was projected in order to execute certain karmas in that in Janma. So, Nara was a part of Narayana for the purpose of execution of certain things is one, and again he emerged into it. Has been brought, the same status has been brought into the state where Mahabharata Yuddha or Mahabharata status, and Arjuna was created the same way. That is not different. Arjuna is not different. But one is executing the karma, another is, the Jiva, another is the Atma. Same way, Nara and Narayana. That's why he is explaining, Arjuna, you do not know who you are, how we were. And he was taken to the other world and has shown what they were and all that. Then only he was convinced. So for that, one who is limited with his karma, who is limited with his body and the mind, for him, the Vishwarupa was there. But has the God shown the Vishwarupa to Darshana to Arjuna? God is a Vishwarupi only. Universality. How can he be limited to one person? It's not possible. But what happened? The capacity to see the universality or the Vishwarupa of the God, Arjuna needed the special eyes, special vision that God has blessed him. Now you see. Through that vision, when he sees that that's a Vishwarupa, when that specs is taken out, he cannot see that. That's all. It's not that Bhagavan has changed the forms and shapes. Bhagavan is always Ishvara. If we call it as Ishvara, if we call it as God, is universal. But we see Arjuna needed to see through a perspective for executing that particular karma. So he needed a form of universality in the form of Krishna. That's all. Otherwise he won't be able to fulfill his karma because his limitations will bar him from executing that karma. So this universality or the Vishwarupa of Bhagavan is seen by an ordinary person or a person like Arjuna is not less. The amount of tapasya he has done, he is a son of Indra himself, son of Indra, and then he has done lots of tapasyas, lots of blessings he has got from Bhagavan Shiva and Bhagavan Vishnu and Indra and who not. He's a person who has got lots of these qualifications. It's not simple. But with that also, to identify the Lord was not possible because he was, as in his form, he was supposed to fulfill that particular karma. Had he seen him as Ishvara, Vishwarupa in the earlier itself, he would not do any of these things. But being the part of Lord, and he is supposed to execute this karma for the evolution process, he did not see him in that form. So in order to see him, he has to release his karma as his own. He was thinking it is his own karma. Because of his identity, as he said, you become individual when you apparently get attached to these Jagrata Sushupta Swapna Avastha. When you connect yourself, then the individuality, the individuality is created. So that Jagrata Swapna Sushupta Avastha has to be removed from him. But he is not able to remove it. And that aham was there. Arjuna said, I have to fight with them. I have to defeat Karna. I have to defeat so and so. I have to defeat this one. I do not want to win the war at Vishada Yoga. I do not want to win the war. I do not want to become famous. I want to become sannyasi. I want to do this. This is what is requirement because he was entangled in the limitations of the I-ness there. When he was entangled in the limitations, the Vishwarupa who was sitting in front of him could not be identified as Bhagavan. So he always addressed him as Sakha, Vasudeva, Madhusudana, various names he called him. But the moment he saw the Vishwarupa of him, he said, Bhagavan, karma mukti. That means the body consciousness and mind consciousness should not be there. Once you are away from that, your karma mukti has happened. That means there is no more karma left as far as the karma is concerned. Then what he does, that's why Bhagavan said, Arjuna, you fight. You do this, you do whatever it is, fight or X, Y, Z. You do this. But not as your karma. That's why he said, we said karma should be done as a karma. When that status in you comes, then you are no more attached to Jagrata Swapna Sushupta Avastha. Then the identity is not there. Identification is not there. He doing it, that's all. Who does it? That Prakriti does it. I am not doing it. Jivan Mukta. This is called Jivan Mukta. When we execute our karmas, do as karmas. Not for a personal... See what happens if we want to derive the pleasure of that karma that we are deriving. We are doing. I want to achieve this result. When finished, you will achieve it. But then you will be achieving it. No one will. But you also remains. That achievement also remains. Achievement goes away after one day. The you again remains. To achieve again and again. This is what has to be removed. So karma has to be done as per this of course in the physical level it is not possible to perceive it. This only, that's why this is meant for those who are in the path of sannyasa, and then only this consciousness can be identified and understood. So Prajapati said, hey Indra, this is the greatest truth. This is the Aatman. Now do you understand what is Aatman? This is the Supreme Person. Here he said about the person. Why? Why? Because in the sloka, yes. Why did he say about the Supreme Person? That means there have to be persons who are not supreme, and Supreme Person we said. Abnormal or absolute, what we call a person which is absolute. As I told you, achara, chara, same way as bodiless, as universality, everything is explained. The same way it is person also, that which is supreme. Only to make us understand that person means as one. Person is what? Person means one. It's the translation is one. That's why we say it's a person, not persons. Then plural comes the anekam, is it? So one, and from after that, after one, everything is anekam. 2 persons, 3 persons. One is only person. So, in first person, the explanation of Bhagavad Gita is in first person, they have translated. Adima Purusha, this in our language, they said Adima Purusha. What is Adima, Madhyama, and Shesha? It's nothing like that. Adima Purusha or person or Purusha is concerned only one person, that person. Purusha. Purusha is person. Supreme is a superlative added to people who want to think that above everything, in order to identify that, the Supreme has been done. Otherwise, it is person. That's all. That's called the Purusha. That's why we said Purusha. Yes, Purusha, not in that sense of male and female Purusha and Stri. Purusha. So Bhagavan says, that's why the one person is it. It is not a person actually, an individual actually. It's not individuality that is being mentioned. We call it a person only by way of expression, explanation of the purpose of helping the understanding of the immature mind. Okay. This is how we translate the term Uttama Purusha occurring here, superior to the transitory Purushas. We have universal Purusha, the word Uttama Purusha, etc., etc. Two Purushas have been explained in the Vedic science, no? Chara, Achara. There are two Purushas. And the third one is the Purushottama, we said. Uttama, Purushottama. Chara, Achara, and Purushottama. We know what is Chara, what is Achara. Which means to say that there is something transcending both the perishable universe and the imperishable universe. Immanent consciousness. So the spiritual freedom is Jivan Mukti. As I told you about the Jivan Mukti, Mukta with the body. That individual is supposed to be Mukta with the body. Here, the whole concept that what we said about beyond the body only Mukti is he vetoed that. Maharshi is vetoing it. This is the spiritual liberation when the body is there, apparently. There are umpteen descriptions of what Jivan Mukta is, and there is limitations of all these descriptions. So one way of looking at it, we cannot say that whether he himself is aware of the body or not, who the Jivan Mukta. I told you about the Jivan Mukta earlier also in one of the lessons in the sannyasa. Now the various kinds of sannyasis I have explained about the 5 different sannyasis. In that I have spoken about the Jivan Mukta. You refer that, you will know the whole what is called the Jivan Mukta and how it is known as. As long as we see the existence of the movement of the body and the individual is supposed to be a Mukta with the body. That is why he is called as Jivan Mukta. So Adi Shankara, now you remember, now I am referring this to Adi Shankara, Shankara Bhatshya. He said with the body also one can have Jivan Mukti. But unfortunately people are not getting it because they are not wanting Mukti. They want only Shakti and Yukti, not Mukti. That's the reason why you are not getting it. We are with the Sharira and Mana, we want only Shakti and Yukti. So everything is dealt by that. So Jivan Mukta, consciousness of the existence of the body is not necessarily an evil provided by it is experienced in the proper perspective. It's the ignorance of that is the cause of bondage, not merely the existence of this thing or that thing. The mere presence of the body will not be a bondage provided it is known in its reality. Well, that's true. Body is not creating any actions actually. The mind is creating the bondage. And here body means mind. So long there is body, then only the question of bondage is there. Evil comes only when the bondage is created. As it is, the body and mind doesn't have any evil. The evil is perceived by the mind and body only from the time it starts creating the bondage. When it is creating the bondage, then only the evil is. That's why asurikata, they said. Na, asurikata. Sura is that which is with the body. With yourself is Swara, synchronization with yourself. When you are synchronizing with something else or someone else, it is Asura. Asura mixed with something else is Asura. So an attachment or bondage, what we call bondage or attachment, this is Asurikata. That's why the body and mind by itself is not identifying as Jivan Mukta. Because the externalities, we discussed about the externalities. No, attachment with the externalities only makes the mind and body happy. Otherwise we are not happy. Well, okay. So the presence of the body will not be a bondage provided it is known in its reality. By itself, it's absolutely pure. That's why in Sushupta Avastha it is pure. No bondage is there, you see. No attachments, nothing is there. So the bondages, attachment, attraction, the power, system, wealth, this, that, everything is a perception of mind attached to that, you see. In the Sushupta Avastha, nothing is there. This is the principle which was discussed with Ashtavakra and Raja Janak. When these avasthas you are out of, there is nothing. That's what Raja Janak also said. Janaka, Raja Janaka. He said, what is the qualification of Raja Janaka? He said Rajarishi. That's right, yes, that's right. We should remember those terms. Just to clarify, with one word we know exactly what it is. You see. This again is a difficult thing to grasp. What is it to know? What is the reality? No one can explain these things unless one goes to this state of personality. That's true. Whatever beating around the bush of freedom to do anything, not to do anything, coming out of it on account of knowledge of depth and everything, not knowledge in the sense of ordinary accumulation of facts, logical knowledge, insight into the nature of the reality, identifying being, you can talk all these words. Only for a vocabulary knowledge, just to make the mind understand it, but none of them has got any meaning. Because none of them are helping you in any way. They are only play of the words we call in normal language, and they are that. See, the simple thing is that it's not possible to explain unless once you are in that state. That's all. That state, that has to be understood to specify that, to confirm that, to clarify that these negations have been used. This is not possible, that is not possible, this is not that, that's not that. Then what it is, whatever is left is that. That's all. This is how the analysis is done for the mind. So this all that. That's why a lot of pages have to be written for negation of it. See, that's it. To understand as to what the behavior of a person would be in respect of others, we have only to imagine for the time being what would be our attitude towards a thing in respect of which we have established identity of existence. It is well nigh impossible to conceive it as long as we have not experienced it, but by a stretch of imagination, we can to some extent feel that the state could be. How do we feel in respect of the thing with which we are one? What is our attitude towards it? Then he explains about the Jivan Mukta and the Jivan Mukta. Only this small explaining. It is nothing but difficulty in explaining God Himself. This God being that we are describing when we speak of Jivan Mukti. An embodiment so called which becomes the vehicle of God experience in this world itself. Such is Jivan Mukti, about which Prajapati is speaking in all these passages. So the perception of the Jivan Mukta, now he says about the perception of the Jivan Mukta is the identification, is the first step towards the identification of the Atman. So Jivan Mukta. Mukti from the living or life has to be there. That means all that living what we are doing, they are all physical existence, meant for physical existence. Simple thing is that Jivan Mukti means, again the same meaning. Jivan Mukti is what? Body, mind, consciousness should not be there. That's Jivan Mukti. When you, in short term, it can be understood. So, okay, let me start from page 256, second para. We'll start. Om Shanti. Shambho Mahadeva.